London, one of the most expensive cities in the world for real estate, where the current average price for a property sits at a huge £508,000. So join me as I search the lower end of the property market and explore the cheapest flats for sale in 2024. Welcome back to London and to another cheap property video, except, well, it's London, so they're not going to be cheap, just the cheapest that I could find. Now, I came down in 2023 last year and I did two of these videos. I did the cheapest houses that I could find for sale, and I also did the cheapest flats that I could find for sale. So obviously the property market has changed massively. Interest rates gone up, it's harder to get a mortgage. Property values did drop all across the country, so who knows what I will find. I've got 5 different flats to show you, all of different sizes, different locations, different types. So I'm really excited to see what we come across as we explore. So yeah, I've just got off the train, come down to Streatham, South London for the first viewing. So let's do it. Oh, as well, I did a property viewing up north recently. I was trying to make a video and the guy recognised me and I thought, this isn't good. It wasn't too bad up north because I was near to home. However, I've paid for trains coming down. I've paid for a hotel to stay over. I can't get caught out and have the video lost. So I've brought my disguise down. What's the best way to go unnoticed in absolutely any situation to hide your identity? Hard hat, high vis, and a lanyard. I'm pretty sure this is gonna fully disguise the Wandering Turnip. I am no longer the Wandering Turnip, the YouTuber, but WT, Property Construction and Development. No one is gonna question a builder going to look round a flat that needs doing up, are they? Right, let's do it. It's just over here somewhere. So here's the listing online for this property. It's on for £260,000 going to auction, so we'll probably go for a lot more than that. The pictures look terrible, so I'm really intrigued to get inside, and it's got 82 years left on the lease. I'll speak a bit more about leasehold later on in this video, but let's get inside. So this is the view from outside. It's the downstairs bit of that building there, so let's get in. Now, you come in through this entrance round here, which was full of stuff, total mess out there, and inside. Now, the first thing you notice is a lot of holes in the floor. It was pretty sketchy walking around in here. Your feet felt like they could go through the floorboards at any moment, but looking around you can see that it is just a total shell in here. And it's interesting, normally in my property videos there's holes in the ceiling. That is normally a feature that I always come across, whereas in this video you'll start to see that the feature is holes in the floor, and the hole you're about to see is the biggest hole I have ever seen in a property. I kid you not, that is about 2 meters deep, about 1.5 meters wide. I couldn't believe it. Just look at the size of that. We'll come back and have another look at that in a minute, but let's just go see the bedrooms. Now, there's 2 down a little set of stairs. So this is the first one. This is your view out of the window there, a bit trashed outside. Look at this wall. Look at that green. I believe that green is known as forest green. And on the ceiling there, just so much black mould, a little bit of a hole in the wall there. This room's in really, really bad shape. I wonder how long it has just been left like this. Really hard to tell when someone last lived in this place. So this room on the end, there is a fridge on the right there. It was really dark in this room, but yeah, this could be another bedroom, or maybe it's your kitchen. Really strange layout, this flat. I don't know how you'd set it up. You do have a bit of a garden out the back though, quite a bit of outdoor space, which always adds on a lot to the property value. I think this place does have the right to extend a little bit as well into that garden, but let's go back inside and have another look at that hole. Just look at that. How does a place end up like that? You've really, really got to know what you're doing with buildings to walk into a place like this, see that and go, yeah, I can take this on. So let's get down into this area, which I guess this probably would be your kitchen. As I said, it's a strange layout. Here's that hole from the ground floor. If you've ever wondered what the earth under London looks like, this is it. Little bit of a geology lesson for you there. Down here as well, you've got a utility room. Yeah, so this would definitely be your kitchen area down here. And a little toilet at the back. Now, unfortunately, this flat was withdrawn from the auction the day before, and I don't know the reasons why, but maybe, and I think this is what I'd do if I was trying to sell this, I wouldn't sell it in this state. I'd invest in it, because all this is so off-putting, but it's got a garden, it's got a great location, it's really spacious. Sort all this stuff out. Property prices are rising massively in London again. Chuck it on the market in a year or two, you're going to make a killing. I forgot to say as well, in that flat that I just viewed, they made me sign a waiver before I went in saying in case I die, it's not their responsibility, which was interesting. And it's more interesting because I have viewed so many properties on the very, very low end of the market, the derelict properties, the ones no one else is interested in. That's my speciality. I've seen so many all over the country, and never once has anyone done that. Never once has anyone told me to be careful. Never once has anyone made me sign something or given me protective gear, which is crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? That's the first time ever. And I mean, that's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is make it safe. Make the property safe to view. Don't just say, if you do die, it's not our fault. There actually was a drop in the property market in London. So prices dropped 5.2%. So what caused that drop in property value in London and all across the country? So interest rates went up, didn't they? They hit a 15-year high of 5.2%, which is where they're sitting now. So the property value in London dropped 5.2% as interest rates rose 5.2%. So with interest rates that high, the thought of buying a house or a flat or a property of any kind is just off-putting. Then moving into 2024, where we are now, and in London, property prices have started to rise again. About 1.2% they're going up at the moment. But with this 1.2% rise, which means there is all the interest coming back to buying property, I was looking at who's getting them, and it's interesting because more than ever, it's more first-time buyers going, you know what, I'm just going to take the risk, get that cheap property, the interest will be higher, but now is the chance. So more first-time buyers, more people who've never had a mortgage before, less people buying a second home, less landlords going, oh, I can get that space and rent it out. There's also a lot less foreign investment coming into London. People who think, oh, where should I buy a second home? Now, where's getting more popular? Places like Dubai, the Middle East, all those glorified playgrounds. That's where a lot of this money that used to come and go, I'm going to get that house there, they're just going over there now. So there's less of that as well. Right, anyway, let's get on to the second property up in Highbury in Islington. It's about a 20-minute walk from now. So I'm going to figure out which way I'm going. We'll go have a look at that. Yeah, property 2. I wonder if it'll beat the first one we saw. That was a corker, wasn't it? All right, let's get to it. So here's the listing for the second flat that we're viewing today. It's on for £120,000, so one of the cheapest that we're looking at, and the lease has 89 years left on it. Now, the location's amazing. Highbury in Islington, it's right near King's Cross Station, so why is it so cheap? Let's go in and have a look round. So the first thing to mention is the smell. The smell of this flat was one of the worst I have ever been in. Quick look at the view, actually. That's the city just over there, so a really nice view, but the smell, so bad. One girl who was coming to view it said, I can't go in there, I cannot view that, it's too bad. So this is your bedroom on the end here. Then you've got the bathroom. Now, it's not in a great way, but to be honest, it wouldn't take too long to fix up a room like this. It's small, it's all cosmetic. You could do this pretty quickly. There was a hole at the back there, but again, pretty easy to fix. I think it just came through to this storage cupboard here and then into the living room. It's funny how carpets can hold smells, and I feel like this is what's happened here. Years of cigarette butts, stale coffee, and other toxic spillages left the room with a certain aroma, which I did not enjoy. Out onto this little balcony here though, and look at the view. To be fair, the flat is not great at all, but this view, that's mega. For £120,000, a flat with a balcony and a view like that, I was pleasantly surprised. But let's go and see the kitchen. Now, this kitchen has been finished to the highest of spec. The units, the craftsmanship, it really is something of beauty. And look at the floor. The floor was terrible, bugs everywhere. Now, I made the mistake of opening the fridge, thinking, oh, I'll just have a quick look inside here. Now, if the smell was bad before, it got so much worse. Flies were coming out. Oh my God, it was absolutely disgusting in there. So this flat sold at auction for £195,000. The smell bad, the balcony good, the kitchen bad, the location good. What do you think? Right, I know I said this video was just going to be London's cheapest flats, but I've had one cancel on me. One of my viewings is cancelled, and it was a good un. Well, no, it was a bad un, but it was a good un, if you know what I mean. However, I've just found a house that's got some viewings, so I'm stomping across to this. So we're going to do one house viewing as well today, because this looks like, well, it looks in a terrible state and it's got that high price tag. So let's head down here, check out this house, and then we'll get back to the flats. So here's the house from the outside, the only house I'm showing you today. It's in Tooting, South London. Here's the listing online. It's got that £325,000 price tag. Doesn't look great on the inside. let's go in and have a look round. So as you come in, on the left is what I guess would be your living room. There's a hole in the floor over there. I did promise you some more of those, but it was the walls that really stood out. Now these are in such a bad way. You can see there's a damp problem on the walls, the ceiling, bits just crumbling away. You could smell it. Over on the floor as well here, another hole. And as it's near the window, you're wondering, where is all that moisture, water coming through? You know this is more than just cosmetic. It's going to be an entire strip back of everything, figure out the internal problems and go again. And this is the other hole in the floor that I was pointing out today. They are becoming a regular feature of this video. Now through here to, I guess, what could be another living room, but this room was really weird because I started to notice in here just how slanted the house was. It felt so strange. You could feel it as you were walking around. So why do I carry with me at all times a bottle of £5 knockoff Lidl aftershave? Well, A, it smells nice, and B, it's the perfect shape to demonstrate just how slanted a house is. I've used this technique before, and look at that go. So you're really going to have to go back to basics, get everything gutted out and solve that problem, underpin the house. Now here we go through into the kitchen, and yeah, it's a total mess. And I knew we'd find at least one today, a hole in the ceiling. There we go, there it is for you. And all the cupboards, everything in here was just so dirty. It smelt really bad, there was mould growing on absolutely everything. Again, another one, I just don't know how long it's been left for. This property does come with a decent sized garden. It's overgrown here, but you can see this must just be adding on so much potential value to the house. And looking at it from the outside, it does look nice. And back in, just another look round this kitchen. So grim in here. Really, really bad. And then it was time to head upstairs. Now, walking upstairs, you could feel how slanted this house was. Quick look round the bathroom. I didn't want to spend too long in here because I realised that hole in the ceiling that I'd seen, I think led through into here. But yeah, not in good shape at all. Into this room over here, there was loads of sand all over the floor. I still cannot figure out why that was there. But it really is the slanting in this house that is the main problem. That's what you're going to have to start with. That's what you need to tackle first. And if you were wondering, it's X-Bolt by G. Bellini. As I said, you can pick it up for £5 from any Lidl or Aldi, and it is a really, really good multi-purpose tool. A must-have for any property developer who also likes to smell nice. And through to the final two rooms up here, and both of them, the walls are really bad. As you can see, it's stripped back to brick there, so you're going to have to start with figuring out how to stop the house from slanting, and then also figure out how to stop this damp problem in the house. This is the final room up here, and look at that. Look at the mould growing on the brick there. It's really, really bad. And I followed this property to auction, as I always do, and this house sold for £602,000. Let me know your thoughts on that. So when you buy a flat, chances are you'll be buying it as a leasehold in opposed to a freehold. So leasehold means you own the flat, but you don't own the building that it's in, nor do you own the land that it's on. Now most flats these days come with a lease of about 125 years. Seems like a long time, it'll outlive you, but you'll probably want to pass it on to someone, your children, their children, keep it in the family. Now sometimes you'll find a flat that'll have 999-year lease on it. That's amazing, that's fine. That's really what you want to find. But if that lease runs out, it means it goes back, the property, into the hands of the freeholder. So yeah, you let your lease run out, it's no longer yours. But you, as the leaseholder, have the right to, at any point, and are encouraged to, extend that lease. Now it will cost you, but it varies in how much depending on how long's left on the lease. The bad news is, if the lease starts getting low, if it's less than 80 years left on the lease, that's when it starts getting really, really expensive to renew it. Once it gets down to 50 years, that's when banks stop allowing mortgages and make it really, really hard to get the property. So this flat that I'm about to view now, I've seen it, it's in a really, really nice part of London. Really, really central. It's only on for 100 grand. I thought, what's going on here? And then I saw, it's only got 9 years left on the lease. So 9 years, if you don't pay whatever it'll be, it's not yours anymore. Now I did read that with this place, as soon as you buy it, you'll get handed a section 42 notice, which means you've got to pay the money straight away. Otherwise, it goes back into the hands of the landlord, the freeholder. I better get back in the high vis and hard hat just in case. Better to be safe than sorry today. There we go, we're back in business. No one's gonna suspect a thing. That's my gym card, by the way. Don't matter what you put in the lanyard, just wear one. People pay you respect. So here's the listing for this flat, and I said this is the weird one because look at the location, Marylebone, a really good location. The price, only £100,000. So what is going on with it? Well, the reason has got to be because, looking at the pictures, looks pretty nice. The reason has got to be because the lease only has 9 years left on it. So 65-year lease from 1968, 9 years unexpired. So let's go and have a look. Let's see what it's like and maybe use that calculator at the end to figure out what you'll actually pay on top of what it sells for. So coming into the flat, and immediately you can see that, well, this is very different to the normal types of properties that I show you. This looks quite nice. The walls are all fine. It seems in really good condition. There's nothing really that would need doing to this flat to move in. You could turn up, put your stuff in it, ready to go. There's your view outside one of the windows. So yeah, why is it so cheap? £100,000 for this. Look at the ceiling, totally fine. No holes in the ceiling, no holes in the floor. I was pretty disappointed, to be fair, with that. Nice little kitchen. I mean, it is a small flat. That's the only bit of mess that I saw on the wall there. And the only other thing that I could find wrong with this flat was this little design malfunction. I mean, this would do my head in. Don't put doors next to each other like that. But apart from that, yeah, this flat is sound. So not what I was expecting at all for a flat that was on for £100,000 in the centre of London. Now it's got to be because of that lease that's left. Only 9 years left. Now this flat sold at auction for £215,000. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you this lease calculator where you can work out just how much you would pay when the lease is really low. And I'll compare it as well to what would happen if it was a 125-year lease or a 999-year lease. So I'll show you this now. So I find lease extension calculators really interesting to mess around with. So let's put the data in and see what it comes up with. Ground rent on average, 350 quid. Property value, we saw it sold for 215,000. And let's see what it would cost with 999 years left on the lease. So that'd be £5,800 to extend. It's not massive. Let's see with 125 years left. £6,300. Let's move it down to 75. This is where it starts getting expensive. So that's £19,000 it'd cost to extend. Let's see what it would be with 9 years. Oh my God, so it's £160,000 that you have to pay extra to extend that lease. So let's get the calculator out. Original price, £215,000, plus paying £160,000 to extend that lease. It's actually £375,000 for that flat. What do you think now? So I got a message from someone the other day saying, if you're ever in London again, David, you should go make a video about these fake houses. Now I was intrigued. And it was also good because, well, I am in London. I was literally coming down to make a video about property. So I thought, well, if someone's giving me a tip, I gotta go do it. I love it when people do that. So let's go do it. Let's go check out these fake houses. I've done a bit of research about them, but I'm very intrigued to go explore them myself, see what it's all about. Look at all these houses round here. Bloody hell, they're fancy, aren't they? To live round here in one of these, you must have a well good job, like, I don't know, banker or art person or rich parents, one of them. So I think it's just up here. I think it's one of these, the fake houses. They don't look fake, they look real to me, and they look real fancy. I think it's 22 and 23. Right, yeah, so obviously they're all in use there. And it's these ones here. Let's go have a look. You can see in the windows there's nothing in them. Fake houses. Yeah, so this is them there. I'm just gonna get down because that truck's a bit noisy. But yeah, those houses there, they're actually only about 5 feet. So they look like real houses, apart from the windows, but they're not. Let's walk around, see if we can look behind. So back in 1860, when they were digging the first Metropolitan line, how they used to do it was they wouldn't dig through the ground, they'd start at the top, go down, and then rebuild over. So what they had to do was they had to knock 2 houses down to do that. And then they were instructed, well, you got to put something back up. You can't just leave it. So they built these fake ones. I wonder if you can get around. So I think we'll be able to see them from the back here. Yeah, look at this. Very interesting. Thank you for the tip, whoever you were that sent me that. That's mega. So I've just headed east to Leytonstone for this next viewing. I think it's a 2-bed, an upstairs flat in a house. And yeah, I think from the pictures it's a 2-bed. Doesn't look in great shape, and also got quite the price tag with it, so it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, let's go check it out, Leytonstone. I've never really been this part of London before. Seems alright, pretty nice. The houses seem quite nice. The streets seem alright, to be fair. Pretty quiet. Nice like terrace houses going that way. Seems quite close to the tube station as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the last flat. We've seen 5 properties today. This is the last one. It's on for £260,000. That's the floor plan of the flat there. Now let's check out the lease. What's it on? It's got a 990-year lease left. That's what you want to look out for. Like I showed you before with the calculator, that's not going to be much to extend really. So this is the flat. It's the upstairs one there. So let's get in and have a look round. So heading into this flat, and on first appearances, it just felt like cosmetic damage, bit of wallpaper peeling off, no way near as bad as some of the other properties that I've shown you today. There were a few cracks in the walls. Now I couldn't tell if this was just in the plasterboard or maybe it was structural, but you just have to pull that back to check, but nothing that looks too bad. Now decent sized rooms in this flat, way bigger than I actually expected from looking at the listing and from outside. And again in this room, few little cracks on the walls, but nothing too bad at all. Now coming over to the window, you can see here that there is a tree that's trying to move in, so you might have some company there unless you cut that back. Now heading back through the rest of the flat, and as you can see, yeah, it is just cosmetic damage really, and into the bathroom, which was a bit dirty, it was grotty, it wasn't in great shape, but to be honest, it would not take long at all to sort this bathroom out. You could make this nice very quickly. I don't think there's too much internal damage in this place. It was a bit gross, but to be honest, this was the best flat I've seen all day in terms of size, in terms of price. I'm very intrigued to see what it'll sell for. Then heading through to the kitchen, and it did get a lot worse in here, to be fair. There was a lot of mold on the floor, a lot of dirt on the floor. Why is it that it's always the kitchens that let me down? Give it a bit of a clean, come on. I mean, you're going to be stripping it all back anyway, but just look how filthy it is in here. It doesn't take long to make that look a little bit more appealing under here as well. Really dirty. If I were selling a place like this, what I'd do is I'd come round, I'd just strip it back already, get all this stuff out, clean it, and then you think, oh, well, it'll be worth a lot more. It looks so much nicer. But maybe in London, it just does not matter. You can put it on in this condition and it'll still sell. You've got this room on the end here, which again, decent sized room, few cobwebs up there, bit of dirt down here, but it really isn't anything too bad at all, especially in comparison to some of the stuff that I do see. I did find some droppings that appear to have come from a rodent or another medium-sized creature, but this flat sold at auction for £287,500, which is only 27 grand over the guide price. Very interesting. Let me know what you think of it. People speak to me when I'm wearing this like I have a clue what I'm on about. I don't. I just got the high-vis hard hat on. It's great. Try it. You should try it. So there we go, we've seen 4 flats and 1 house. Now I follow a lot of properties to auction, and honestly, the flats did not go for as much as I thought they would. The house did, and maybe that falls into what I was talking about, saying first time buyers wanting a family home. Flats definitely are not as appealing as houses to families, so maybe that is playing into it. Now if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do, it massively helps me. If you're watching via a TV, which I know a lot of you are, you might not be logged in, you might not be subscribed, so I'm going to put this QR code up here which you can scan with your smartphone camera. It'll take you through to a page where you can if you want to. And I will definitely be back in the capital soon for London's cheapest houses part 2, although we might need another disguise. Let me know what I should be dressed as. Cheers, bye bye.